Once upon a time, in a vibrant garden filled with colorful blooms, there stood a unique flower named Petalina. Unlike other flowers, Petalina had the extraordinary ability to speak. Her petals were a bright mix of purple and gold, making her stand out among the rest. Though she was rooted, her words traveled far and wide, bringing joy to anyone who listened. One sunny morning, a little girl named Lily wandered into the garden. She looked sad and worried, her eyes devoid of the sparkle they usually carried. Petalina noticed the little girl and decided to reach out. "Hello, dear child," she called softly, her voice as warm as a summer breeze. Startled, Lily looked around. "Who said that?" she asked, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's me, Petalina, the flower in front of you," replied the flower with a gentle smile. Lily kneeled down, incredulous but intrigued. "I've never heard a flower talk before," she said, her sadness momentarily forgotten. "There's a first time for everything," Petalina winked. "Why do you look so downcast on such a beautiful day?" Lily hesitated at first, but then poured her heart out. She was worried about her favorite doll that she had accidentally dropped into the river. Petalina listened intently and then spoke with wisdom beyond her rooted existence. "Lily, sometimes we hold on to things so tightly that we fear losing them the most," she said. "But remember, true happiness comes from within, not from what we hold in our hands. Losing something can lead to finding something even more precious." Lily pondered Petalina's words and slowly began to realize the truth in them. Her eyes sparkled with newfound comfort and understanding. She smiled, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't before. "Thank you, Petalina. I feel better now," Lily said, her face alight with gratitude. Petalina's petals fluttered gently in response to the girl's changed demeanor. "Go on and enjoy the day, dear child, and remember to cherish the beautiful moments life offers," Petalina advised. Lily nodded and ran off to play, her laughter echoing through the garden like a melody. Petalina watched her leave, content with the impact she'd made. From that day on, Lily often visited the garden, and each time she found herself enriched by the wisdom of the talking flower. The garden was not just a place of beauty, but a realm of learning, where flowers taught lessons and children found joy. Thus, the voice of the flower went on to change hearts and lives, spreading love and wisdom to all who were willing to listen. And so, Petalina continued, forever a friend to those in need and a reminder that true happiness blooms from within. Once upon a time, in the peaceful town of Willow Creek, there was a school named Crestfield Academy. The children there were eagerly anticipating the day of result, a day when the entire school celebrated the achievements of each student. It was an occasion filled with excitement, anxiety, and a tinge of suspense. In Percy's house 3A, a young girl named Emily sat by her window, staring out at the swaying trees. Emily was a diligent student, always striving to do her best. However, no matter how hard she tried, mathematics was always a stumbling block for her. She had spent sleepless nights practicing math problems, hoping to do better this year. Her parents had always encouraged her not to stress and to focus on doing her best instead of fretting over the results. "It's about learning, not just getting numbers on paper," her mother would often say. Still, Emily couldn't help but feel butterflies in her stomach as the day approached. When the day of result arrived, the whole school was abuzz with excitement. Teachers walked around with stacks of report cards while students exchanged hushed whispers in the corridors, each one hoping for the best. Emily went to school with her best friend Max, who also had his share of worries about his history grades. They promised to support each other no matter what the outcomes turned out to be. As the assembly started, Ms. Langley, the principal, addressed the students. Ms. Langley reminded them of the true essence of education. It's not about perfect scores, she emphasized. It's about personal growth and understanding the joy of learning. Finally, the moment came when the results were handed out. Emily took her envelope with trembling hands and slowly peeled it open. Her eyes scanned over the grades. When she reached mathematics, her heart skipped a beat. To her astonishment, she had improved significantly, scoring higher than she had ever expected. Emily felt a wave of emotions: relief, joy, and a renewed sense of trust in herself. She realized it was not just the hours of practice that had helped her achieve this, but also the belief instilled in her by her parents and teachers. At the end of the day, Emily and Max celebrated their achievements, not for the numbers on paper, but for the hard work and dedication they had both shown. The day of result became a day of reflection and inspiration. Emily learned that success is not merely defined by grades, but by the courage to continue trying, even when the odds are against you. And that was a lesson worth celebrating. Once upon a time, in a small, cheerful village, there was a young boy named Gattu. Gattu was known for his bright blue cap and his endless curiosity. He was full of energy and loved exploring the world around him. However, Gattu had a little problem. He often told fibs to make his adventures sound more exciting than they really were. One bright, sunny morning, Gattu dashed out of his house with his best friend, Chicky, a playful puppy with a wagging tail and adorable polka dots. "Let's go to the river and catch the biggest fish anyone has ever seen," Gattu declared, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Chicky barked happily, ready for the adventure. They rushed to the riverbank, where the water sparkled like 1,000 jewels. Gattu cast his fishing line into the water, and he and Chicky waited eagerly. However, the fish seemed to be hiding, and after an hour, Gattu only had a small, wriggly fish to show for his efforts. Feeling a bit disappointed, Gattu's imagination started to take over. He ran back to the village, pulling Chicky along, and shouted, "I caught a fish as big as a boat. You should have seen it, everyone." The villagers gathered around, their eyes wide with amazement. What the? "Let's see this enormous fish," they cheered. Gattu hesitated, but then said, well, it was so big that I had to let it go in the river." A few days later, Gattu and Chicky decided to explore the nearby forest. They played hide and seek among the tall trees and laughed as the birds sang merrily. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a small cave. Curious as ever, Gattu peeked inside and found nothing but darkness. That evening, back in the village square, Gattu couldn't resist adding some spice to his tale. "Chicky and I found a cave filled with treasure and a sleeping dragon guarding it," he exclaimed. "But we escaped just in time." The villagers were amazed again, though some began to doubt Gattu's incredible stories. One evening, as Gattu was lying in bed, he heard a tiny voice. "Gattu, do you think all these fibs are fair to your friends?" It was his conscience speaking. Gattu thought deeply and realized that his fibs might not be fair after all. The next morning, Gattu decided it was time for a change. He gathered everyone in the village square and said, "I have something important to share. From now on, my stories will be as real as you and me. I promise to tell the truth." The villagers clapped and cheered. Chicky barked joyfully, and everyone felt proud of Gattu's newfound honesty. From that day on, Gattu's adventures were filled with genuine excitement and happiness, and his tales became the most loved stories in the village. He learned that the truth leads to true friendships and happiness.